You were able to go home and go back and live with your parents, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Had you been living with your parents before that?
No. I was in an apartment for a couple months the first time I ever moved out of my parents' house.
Do you have a good enough memory of the time you went back to your parents to describe that? Sort of in June of...
I remember when I was staying with my parents. I don't remember the day that I moved back in with my parents. I'm sure it was a great day, but I don't remember it. But I remember moving back in to my parents' home. That home was the same home that I lived in from the time I was 7 years old. So I knew that home very well. And my new bedroom in my parents' home was their guest room. My old bedroom was taken by my little brother. And when I first went back to my parents' home, I wasn't walking very well. Actually, because you asked me about walking, I couldn't walk up and down the stairs. I remembered a technique I used when I was a child, where I would go up the stairs backwards by moving my butt up one step at a time. So I remember I did that when I first moved into my parents' house. And at first they didn't give me freedom without them. And it just seems to me that once I learned that butt step walking technique, I got more freedom in my house. What else? And I remember development at my parents' house. I remember that there was a time when I couldn't take my showers on my own, and I remember getting better. And I remember my parents had a shower sauna in their basement. And I remember that when I first started back at my parents' house, I was upstairs in the full bathroom, and my mom had to help me into the bathtub and into the shower and out. And I remember later that I was independent in the sauna shower in my parents' house. I remember when I was in my parents' house and my mom would sit me in the middle of the living room where she could work in the kitchen and still keep an eye on me. And then I remember developing to where she could let me play outside in the backyard all by myself. So I remember those kind of developments.
Do you remember anger at being treated like you were, as our lead guy, Lethan, says, I'm not 4. Do you remember anger at being treated like you were 4?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I'm not so sure that I know I let some anger out, but a lot of it was inside my thoughts. And I remember wanting people to talk to me like I was an adult. I remember anger. I don't remember specific anger in that instance, but I do remember that I wanted to be, maybe I was more angry at myself because I wanted to be that adult that I was, more than I was angry at my family.